Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/JustNoMil. In today's episode, I can't tell if I have a genuine right to be hurt and annoyed, or if I'm being petty because I really don't like JustNoMil and family. Stupidest thing my MIL has ever told me. JN mom treats kids like accessories. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. I can't tell if I have a genuine right to be hurt and annoyed, or if I'm being petty because I really don't like JustNoMil and family. For the last year, we've been no contact with my husband's mom and family, and it's been bliss. I can't remember how up to date I've kept my posts, but my husband made the decision after a series of events, compounded by their blatant dismissal of me. If it were up to them, I'd disappear into the abyss and they'd play happy families with my son. I wrote JustNoMil a long text expanding on my feelings, and she ignored me and accidentally forwarded it back to me, clearly meant for someone else. My husband didn't address them about it, which I felt like he should, but oh well, but he did just ask for space and went no contact. Recently, my husband's stepmom, who was very much just yes, passed away unexpectedly. It has rocked us, my husband in particular, and of course he is now thinking of the mortality of JustNoMil and his family. As a result, he started visiting JustNoMil and his grandpa. This makes me really uncomfortable, as I don't really like my child being around people who don't respect his mother, but I can't force my husband to make other decisions, nor can I stop him making visits whilst I'm working and not able to know what he's doing. Since the visits have recommenced, their Facebook activity has now upped. JustNoMil, who previously ignored all of our social media posts, and she is prolific on there, so I know she would have seen them, is now commenting, liking, and engaging with everything that doesn't include me. A picture of my son? Love hearts and kisses. A picture of my son and husband? My two special boys. A picture of all three of us, or just me and my son? Radio silence. His grandpa does exactly the same. They will like each other's comments on pictures but ignore my input completely. I know rationally that is really petty, and objectively I can see that I should just ignore it, but I'm just so hurt. I feel like JustNoMil and grandpa feel like they have won. They get their grandson back without having to apologize to his mother, they get their son back without having to see his evil wife. No one ever had to apologize or acknowledge me. My husband says he realizes it hurts me, but he shrugs his shoulders when I ask if he'll address it. I feel like I don't want to reach out to JustNoMil or grandpa, as I'll be ignored and used as gossip fodder. They don't like me, so they don't care about my feelings, so anything I say about it they will see as ridiculous. Husband says I come first, but honestly I just feel like I am pretty low down on everyone's list. Please give it to me straight, is it valid to be hurt, or am I just blinded by my dislike for JustNoMil and his family? P.S. His grandpa will comment "that's my boy" on every picture of my son, and it makes me genuinely homicidal, so that might play a role. Edit: please don't ask me why I allow my husband to take my child to see my in-laws. I do not control what he does or does not do, and short of voicing my displeasure and asking him outright to not visit, I can't stop him. I understand him taking my child against my wishes is a separate issue, but I still cannot prevent him, even if we were to separate/divorce, unless anyone has any helpful advice on how this can be navigated. I feel like JustNoMil and grandpa feel like they have won. Because they have. They get their grandson back without having to apologize to his mother, they get their son back without having to see his evil wife. No one ever had to apologize or acknowledge me. Because they won. You keep saying you can't control your husband from taking your child over there, but I really think you are selling you and your husband very short in this. You have more power, more to negotiate than you think you do. Personally, even though you think you can't, I put my foot down and draw a line in the sand about your child visiting without your presence. They absolutely do not deserve a relationship with a child if they don't with the child's mother. Your post asks for people to give it to you straight, so I'm going to be a bit tough here, because your child needs you to be tough on their behalf. Husband. I am so against JNMIL and JingMil having a relationship with our child without me. If you continue to please them by taking our child over there without me, I will be seriously considering divorce. If this is the path you want, let me know and we can head that way. If not, we need couples counseling immediately and henceforth you can have a relationship with your mother, but until she fixes her relationship with me, she can no longer see our son. I think the real issue here is your husband. It is all summed up by what you said. His response to your pain is, shrug. I would say the thing to do is stop asking him for different behavior right now, but tell him that you feel counseling is mandatory for the success of the marriage given that you are dealing with family turmoil. If he is willing, you know you will stand a chance of working this out. If he isn't, it will still be information. You will know he is truly okay with your pain if he isn't willing to explore solutions that have nothing to do with MIL. This counseling is a great way to navigate this whole struggle. Hopefully we'll get the hubs to realize what he's doing wrong. Your husband just shrugs? Nope, absolutely unacceptable. They have no respect for one of the kiddos' parents and still get to spend time with them? Nope, not at all. I know, but I don't know what to do about it. I can't stop him going over when I'm not around. He could tell me he's not going over and then still go whilst I'm working and just never tell me. I'd not find out. It's really frustrating, but I don't have an answer on how to stop it. Uneasy face. Letting your child around manipulative in-laws who hate you is dangerous. These types of people cannot pass up an opportunity to try and shape a child's thoughts. I can pretty much guarantee that they are saying things to your child that would horrify you. Personally, I would also start thinking about mortality, and whether it's worth spending your life with someone who disregards you and enables people to abuse your kid and you. The fact that he doesn't care about the way they treat you really reveals how little he cares about you. First off, this has come not only at MIL/grandfather issues, it's now a husband issue. He is tolerating the disrespect of you and therefore just as complicit. I honestly think you need to set a boundary that the baby and you don't go. You should not allow your son to be exposed to this treatment of you. Your husband is the just no. He should be allowing this, and the fact that he shows he has very little respect for you. He's your number one problem here. I'd insist on counseling for the two of you. It is reasonable to feel like they won and he is betraying you. I am so sorry. I would ask him how he sees this working out. Your mom gets everything she wants, she pretends I don't exist, you won't do anything to defend me. What happens on holidays? Do you expect me to be home alone while you take out child to them? What about our child's birthday? Will they throw a party where his mother isn't welcome? Why is it that your mother gets to have feelings and your wife doesn't? What if my family comes to get our child? Is that okay, or is it suddenly wrong? How will things get better if you don't do anything? For her, what if you go? What if you tag her in pictures of you? What happens? Please consider that you working 2 jobs while your husband does all this is a form of abuse. Stupidest thing my MIL has ever told me. Let me start off by saying, I love my MIL. We get along great. However, she is a bit of the stereotypical airhead blonde. She has given away hundreds if not thousands of dollars because she falls for so many scams. Her husband, my FIL, has put his foot down and said that she must get his approval for any donation she wishes to make, and says that maybe 1 in 20 of the things she brings to him are legit, and he's more than happy to have her donate to those causes if they're capable of doing so. She also goes for every conspiracy theory out there, and was calling my husband, her son, on a daily basis to tell him the latest thing she's heard. He also put his foot down and said he doesn't need daily updates. Do some actual research into it, and tell him the ones that make actual sense in her weekly calls Sunday nights. So, we're in my husband's hometown for his grandma's birthday dinner tonight, and last night we had a barbecue, just my husband, me, and his parents, when my husband and I made the announcement that we were now ready to start trying to have a baby. Another thing to note is I have very bright red hair. Mil told me as we were eating that I should color my hair because she doesn't want the kid getting red hair and being mercilessly teased. I wasn't as a child, so I let this comment slide. Rather, it was the belief that if I dyed my hair a different color, the kid might not inherit my bright red hair. Quite possibly the stupidest thing anyone has ever said to me. My husband said, "It doesn't work that way, Mom," and changed the subject to what we were going to do concerning the baby and our living situation and potential names we have thought of. Sorry, just a rant, and despite her shortcomings, I do love my Mil. She's always been supportive of me and my husband, and think she will be a wonderful grandmother for my future child, though she will have to be careful what she says around him, her. Question: if you throw a blanket over Mil's head, does she think it's nighttime and go to sleep? Pictured Mil as a little chirpy bird, head tucked under wing. I'd be more worried that your child would inherit Mil's idiocy. She's not the fastest moped on the pier, eh? But at least she is entertaining. I would have the hardest time not laughing. I do know it is not nice to laugh at people, it is just hard sometimes. She lives 4+ hours away, so my exposure to her is minimal. I literally could not have controlled my laughter at that statement. That may be one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. Definitely entertaining though. And OP, don't leave your child alone with her. I would worry more about her doing something stupid. Babies don't need car seats. I'll just hold him, her, rather than saying something stupid. Sounds like you have to worry about what your baby might inherit from Mil. By the way, red hair is gorgeous. I always wished I had red hair, the natural kind, not the weird dye kind. I let my hair air dry after showers. My Mil asked why it doesn't go moldy. If you've been on the fence about getting a tattoo, I think now would be a great time to indulge. I can only imagine her mental gymnastics. The baby would be born with a full sleeve. I actually have a small tattoo of my zodiac sign on my upper thigh. It shows when I have a bikini on, but she said nothing about it. Wonder if it'll change on the baby depending on when she is born. She sounds sweet and well-meaning, but that's the kind of thing a moron would say. Thankfully it sounds like Phil's genes were stronger. That's why whenever she says something, I just tell myself, that's Mil, she means nothing by it. JN mom treats kids like accessories. Not sure if I'm overreacting here or overthinking. I have 2 LOs, age 5 and 1. My J&M seemed really engaged with my first and spent time with him until he started speaking/walking. She then said she didn't know what to do with him, which continued until someone she works with asked her about her grandson. Then she started asking me for photos of him while we were out and about, which she posted online. She never said in the posts that she took him out, but she never said she didn't either, and when her friends commented about how it looks like she's giving him a fun day, she never corrected. I eventually said please stop asking for pictures and you're welcome to actually join us, but she never took us up on it, so we just gave up asking. This continued until when I was going to have my second, my JI father who lives with JNM offered to take LO1 overnight while I was in labor and then JMil to come relieve them a couple of days later. All arranged and fine. The day I went into labor, LO went to their house, and the next day I found out, after giving birth, that JNM had taken LO to church and started showing him off and talking to her friends about what a good grandmother she is and how much time she spends with him, and she was at the same time asking my so when he would take him back / exactly what time JMil was arriving. I got angry at this, especially because she then didn't want to see him for ages after but wanted to see the baby. The first time she was going to meet the new baby, she said no because she had a church coffee morning to go to and that was more important. She was not running it, just attending. LO2 is now a year old, and JNM wants to take him to church for Christmas. This will be the first time she's seen LO since he was 6 months old, so I said I had to go too. She said no, everyone will think he doesn't know who I am. I told her that he has no idea who she is and she can't take him anywhere without me because she's treating him like a toy, and I saw how upset my oldest was when she treated him like that, so she won't have the chance this time. She got really angry and called me names and said I was overreacting. Am I? It's so telling that her motivation is everyone will think he doesn't know her, rather than the fact he actually doesn't know her. You are doing such a great job dealing with this. Not overreacting at all. Lady wants a purse poodle. It would be funny if you borrowed someone else's baby and went to church with her. When she got a big crowd around her and bragged a bit, you could tell them all that it wasn't her grandchild at all. OP, please don't pass up an opportunity like this. Oh, my kind of funny. No, my grandma would do this with my sibling and I while talking about how great she was for having adopted grandkids. Such a great human being. It took me until I was 8 to realize no one can forget to buy you Christmas and birthday presents with that much regularity. All the other grandkids got them and they tried to exclude us from the cards every year too. It wasn't a racial thing, though she was racist AF, we are the same race as them. Kids aren't props or accessories, and anyone doing that to a child is a busted sewage line of a human that should come with a mandatory warning label. Because of the toxicity. She is treating them like accessories. Wow. And she wants to take a baby who she hasn't seen in 6 months to church. A 1-year-old? Without you? That would be just awful. You offered a nice compromise of attending with her. Seriously? She's so dumb she doesn't realize that if she took a 2-year-old who has no memory of her to church on the day of the year that church will be the most crowded, the 2-year-old child, will melt down out of fear and overwhelm, and the 2-year-old adult, JNM, won't have a clue how to handle it? And then she'll blame you for letting her borrow a defective toy/s. My JNMIL stopped knowing how to relate to my kids when they were about 4 or 5 years old. I figure that's her level of emotional maturity. Seriously. It explains her behavior, and that's how old she was when her sister, who was very controlling and dominant, was born. When I remember that, it helps me to feel less angry and resentful and more compassionate about her. Don't get me wrong, I'm still NC. But I'm less angry, more peaceful, and a better parent as a result. She loves the attention she gets from them, not spending time with them. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.